My fiance's mother handed me a prenup at the rehearsal dinner, so I took off my ring, canceled the wedding, and walked away. My fiance Alex's mother Judith handed me a prenup at our rehearsal dinner in front of 50 guests and announced that I needed to sign it before tomorrow's wedding. Alex looked confused and asked what she was talking about because we'd already discussed not having a prenup months ago. Judith said she'd taken the liberty of having one drawn up because someone needed to protect her son's interests since he was too blinded by love to think clearly. She said the document was standard and would ensure I couldn't take advantage of the family's money when things inevitably went south. She actually used those words, when not if, like our divorce was already planned. The prenup was 60 pages long and basically said I'd get nothing if we divorced for any reason, including infidelity on Alex's part. It said any children would automatically stay with Alex because he had better financial resources. It said I couldn't work for any competing companies to Alex's family business ever, even after divorce. It said I'd have to repay any gifts given during the marriage if we split. It even said I couldn't gain weight beyond 20 pounds or it would be considered breach of contract. Judith stood there smiling while everyone read over my shoulder and said this was just smart business and any reasonable woman would sign it. Alex grabbed the papers and started reading, his face getting redder with each page. He asked his mother what she was thinking and she said she was thinking about protecting the family legacy from gold diggers. She looked right at me when she said gold diggers, even though I made more money than Alex and had paid for most of our wedding myself. She said women like me always showed their true colors when asked to sign reasonable agreements, and if I really loved Alex, I'd sign without hesitation. Our families were stunned into silence while Judith kept talking about how she'd seen too many good men ruined by calculating women. She said she'd hired a private investigator to look into my background, and while she hadn't found anything yet, that just meant I was better at hiding things. She said the prenup was non-negotiable, and if I refused to sign, the wedding was off because she wouldn't let her son make such a huge mistake. She'd already called the vendors to put them on standby for cancellation. Alex stood up and told his mother she had no right to do this. Judith said she had every right as the woman who raised him and funded his entire life. She reminded him that she controlled his trust fund until he was 35 and could make his life very difficult if he married the wrong person. She said I'd already started changing him, making him soft and emotional when he used to be focused on success. She claimed I was isolating him from his family, when really she meant I'd encouraged him to set boundaries with her controlling behavior. My parents were furious, and my father asked Judith who she thought she was to insult his daughter like this. Judith said she was protecting her bloodline from dilution and wouldn't apologize for being a good mother. She said my parents should be grateful their daughter was marrying up, and the prenup was generous considering I brought nothing to the marriage except debt from student loans. I actually laughed at that because I'd paid off my loans 2 years ago while Alex was still paying his. Judith demanded to know what was funny, and I said the whole situation was hilarious because she'd just saved me from marrying into her family. I thanked her for showing me exactly what my life would be like with her as a mother-in-law and said the wedding was definitely off, but not because I wouldn't sign her prenup. I said it was off because no amount of love for Alex was worth dealing with her for the next 40 years. I took off my engagement ring and put it on the table next to the prenup. Alex begged me to reconsider and said we could work this out. I asked him if he was willing to cut his mother out of our lives completely, and he hesitated. That hesitation told me everything I needed to know. I said he needed to decide if he wanted to be a husband or remain his mother's little boy forever. Judith started screeching that I was manipulating her son, and this proved she was right about me. The rehearsal dinner ended with me walking out, my family following, and Alex standing between his mother and the door looking lost. The next morning, which should have been our wedding day, I sent messages to all the guests explaining that the wedding was canceled due to irreconcilable differences with Alex's family. I didn't give details, but enough people had witnessed the rehearsal dinner that word spread quickly about what Judith had done. The vendors were furious when they found out Judith had called them preemptively about cancellation because it showed she'd planned this ambush. Several refused to refund her deposits since she'd acted in bad faith. The wedding venue sued her for the full amount since she'd technically breached contract by sabotaging the event. Within a week, Judith's reputation in their social circle was destroyed because everyone was talking about how she'd humiliated her son's fiancé with a surprise prenup at the rehearsal dinner. Full story on channel, link below.